So I keep hearing this crazy message on network television that the left is too left and there are Democrats who are too far left. I share my thoughts here with you on this. Be sure to leave your comments, ding the bell, share this with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Hey, Russ, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to say that I think Bernie Sanders should emphasize his ideas for getting money out of politics and fixing our election systems, because obviously some people are a little bit put off by the left-wing policies. I'm not personally, but everybody wants to clean up Washington, and the best way to drain the swamp is to put a strong democracy back in the hands of the American people.
Yeah, I agree with you, Russ. Although one thing you said has me baffled. I hear this a lot on CNN and MSNBC, and but it's literally never explained. People say, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren are too far left, and people are put off by left-wing policies. But when you look at what the American people want, more than 80% of Americans want Social Security strengthened. More than 60% of Americans want Medicare for all, including more than 50% of Republicans. The vast majority of Americans, as you point out, want politics cleaned up. Some 82% of Americans want free college or debt-free college available to everybody. The vast majority of Americans, I forget the number now, I think it's in the 90s, want drug prices in the United States to at least be the same as they are in Canada and other developed countries. What is, the majority of Americans want our banks to be regulated in a way that prevents another crash. The majority of Americans want clean air and clean water, and they don't want, more poison in our environment. So what is the left-wing policy that Bernie and Elizabeth Warren advocate that has so many people so concerned that it's too extreme? What is that policy, Russ? What am I missing here?
Well, oddly, I just spoke with my sister on the phone, and she's very left-wing but doesn't support Medicare for all. She thinks it's just going to be too much of a disruption.
A disruption of what? You're no longer going to have your insurance company saying, no, we're not going to pay for that bill?
Right, I know. Well, I definitely don't agree with that either. I think some disruption is going to be needed, and currently we're paying insurance companies to do nothing. To take your money and give it to the doctor. So they're a middleman that accomplishes nothing.
Right, they're just bankers.
I don't see there's any reason to pay for that anymore. But There are people who, whatever the policy is, I
think they've been watching too much television, and the television is paid for by the big pharmaceutical companies who are the largest advertisers now on cable television. And those pharmaceutical companies do not want Medicare for all, because Medicare for all, the single-payer system, means that the government would suddenly be able to negotiate all drug prices, and they would lose $60 billion a year in windfall profits, basically, and profits that they're taking right now that they are not taking in any other country, and that they are just stuffing into their bottom line, into their pockets. So I get it.
Well, I definitely think that Bernie can still win, even if he doesn't emphasize his, plans to clean up Washington more. But we also have to, we have to overcome the spending. We have to overcome the right-wing gerrymandering, all of these, tactics to try to take our vote. We need to make those up with people who may not be on board with the far left.
With the far left. Okay, I got it. I guess I'm the far left. I thought the far left was the Communist Party, the people who thought that the government should, take over General Motors and make cars. I guess the far left are people who think that Canada's health insurance policy is a good idea.